Second verse, same as the first. We apologize for the technical difficulties. The computers don't want to work today. It's probably because it's Tuesday and it feels like it should be Friday.
You're right.
Yo, shout out to producer Jeff, director Craig in the control room, and anyone else lurking in the shadowy corners there.
Cindy back there? Where's Cindy?
She's hiding somewhere. She's trying not to be put to work. Paul Gerke, Vanessa Ramirez, James Quinones hanging out on the Today and AZ After Show. We'll make it up to you for being 3 minutes late, guys. Sorry. You know, just one of those days.
It's bad. It's rough.
Yeah.
You want to hear about it? I got a story off the bat.
We're just going to launch right into
I got a story right off the bat.
I like it.
You want to talk about it?
Oh, quick draw from producer Jeff on the graphic, too.
Jeff
well done. Everyone's ready.
Jeff Sabato rules. A buddy of mine.
You showed me this earlier.
Lives in Albuquerque.
All the best stories
Can I
start
say the
with
name?
a buddy of mine.
Can I say the name?
Make it up.
All right.
Say his first name.
First name's Vince.
Okay.
Okay.
And our producer Jeff Sabato probably knows him as well. Anyways, he posted this weekend. He got married. It was so awesome. I mean,
that's great. Congrats,
blew up,
Vince.
post everywhere, and today I got this weird thing on his post. He says, "Thank you for all the congratulatory messages."
Yeah.
Burgundy, that's a makeup name. That's a code name.
That's a code name
Yeah,
for the
a code
person
name.
he was married to,
Yeah.
not a real human name.
Suzanne and I would.
You're the worst, Jimmy.
Suzanne and I would never make a huge commitment.
You suck at pseudonyms.
Without family and our dearest friends. We are in a great place in life. We are committed. We love each other.
That was comfy,
We are
actually.
not married.
Oh.
I apologize for the recent post. We love you all and are blessed and have many friends and live with our family and our lives. Vegas is crazy sometimes.
So
That last line is very important.
They went to Vegas, got married, right? And then they woke up.
Woke up. What have we
and
done?
they're like, this is a bad idea.
That's one of the dangers of social media, because when you put something out into that universe,
You ain't going back.
you can't reel it back in.
But like, why would they decide not to if they've been together, right?
I have no clue. Yeah, I don't know what happened, what went wrong.
Like, where do you go after that? Like, are you just like, do we stay dating? Like, or is it almost like, okay, obviously we don't want to get married, so let's break up? Like,
I don't know. If that's somebody that you actually get along with and enjoy spending time with, I think that's just a great story. Like, can you imagine having a drink at a party sometime and being like, we were married once.
and they're like, what?
We got married for 2 nights in Las Vegas,
great.
and then we had to tell everyone it's off.
Yeah.
I wrote him back a nice message to support. I said, Sue, do I get my wedding gift back
Yes.
or what? Awkward.
Here's the address you can mail my toaster to. Oh my
Are
gosh.
people still putting congratulations?
Oh, congratulations. A bunch of people have congratulations, and other people are just like, may happiness fill your hearts. Blah, blah, blah. So I don't know what happened. Something.
Blah,
crazy.
blah, blah, happiness, hearts,
That's odd.
togetherness, white doves.
Whatever. That's hilarious.
Oh my gosh. All right, let's get to our talking topic. It actually has to do with social media this morning. Quick shout outs to Jim and Heather and Martha and Charlotte hanging out in the comments section. Morgan says that story is LOL awkward.
Yeah. Just a
No
little
kidding.
bit.
Good morning to Nicholas as well. Okay, so here's the question. We posted it down in the comments if you want to take a closer gander at it. We want to hear from you. When it comes to finding a good nanny, it can be difficult. Parents in Silicon Valley are raising the stakes a bit, though. They're having their candidates sign a contract banning them from using their phones while they're on the job, which means no social media. A Yale University study found that when the iPhone 3G network expanded into new cities, 3G, so you know how old this study was, visits to the ER for kids 5 and under went up. They increased.
Really?
The parents say having a babysitter on their phone all the time is dangerous, and it is.
Yeah.
So if they're supposed to be watching the kids, are you okay with banning their cell phone use while they're in your house? Vanessa, your thoughts?
I mean, I obviously don't have any children, but in this situation, I've seen it happen time and time again where accidents do happen because they are busy on their phones. Didn't you see there was a video that went viral not that long ago where it was even, I think, the mother of the children. They were in a little pool, and the mom was on the phone the whole time, and the little baby slipped under the little inflatable thing that it was in, little floaty, and she didn't even realize it for the longest time.
Oh, my gosh.
And so then the other little kid was trying to tell the mom, hey, something's going on, and she was so focused on her phone that she didn't even get the kid's message. So, that causes some issues, obviously. So, I mean, I think it would be a good idea or limit them, like maybe only when they're taking a nap. But how can you monitor that besides watching their every move?
Nicholas has an idea. Should babysitters be wearing a camera that easily detaches and detach trust at its fullest, the person version? Okay. So he kind of rambles a little bit there. But I think what he's saying is that, it's a violation of their privacy, a violation of the trust that you're implying in your babysitter. But then again, if you're having them sign an employment contract, we sign contracts that have us do all sorts of things that like normal jobs wouldn't have us do. You can't go and get your hair cut without making sure if it's cool with management, right? That's a personal freedom that we're sacrificing for the job that we have. If you want to watch my kids, you're sacrificing the freedom to use your cell phone.
I agree.
What do you think, Jimmy? You're smiling. You're smirking over there.
Well, my day, the babysitters had this weird thing. I don't know if you ever heard about it. It's called cable TV.
Oh, I thought you were going to say they dial-up telephone.
Oh, and they dial up their telephone with the big long cord. And when we got fancy, we had that cordless, and they'd be going blah, blah, blah. And then, you know, and then the kids would be doing whatever they're going to do. I don't think it really matters. I really do. The only way that I've seen it work, it's under adult supervision. A friend of mine did it. She has a big pool party every year with kids and friends. She hires a lifeguard, and that lifeguard just, you know, sits right over the pool the whole time. No phone, no nothing. And you can have fun as an adult.
Because that way they don't have to worry about watching their kids because someone else is watching.
I think that's what they want, though, is they want that babysitter to be the lifeguard.
But if you're not there, you can't do that.
But now, like because like I said, there are video cameras that you can install in your house to watch what's
nanny
going
cams,
on. Nanny cams. I mean, those were back then, but now it's like you could see everything in real time, and so that's kind of scary. So I mean, you could even talk to them during those cameras, like, "Hey, I see you. You're on the phone, and my kid's doing this. Can you please get off the phone?"
Charlotte, well then what's the point of you leaving if you're just going to be monitoring the nanny cam the whole time and barking directions back at your babysitter, right?
People do, though.
No, you're right. I'm not saying they don't. You watch your dogs while you're at work. Emma watches her kids on the desk every morning.
Don't have kids. The world's already overpopulated. You don't need any more people.
Jimmy's part of the anti-humanist movement, but that's another topic for another show.
True.
Charlotte agrees with your take on social media, though. She says, what's the difference between being on social media and watching my kids versus when I was a teenager and watching HBO and MTV because we didn't have it at my house?
There you go. Great comment.
Robert Smith wants to hire robots. Millennials can't do anything without using social media. One day there will be robots watching their kids.
I know. Leanna said no. If you don't trust them, don't have them in your home.
Mindy, it depends on your situation.
Michael says, I say no phone except for emergency. But it's like attached to everybody's hip these days.
It's just so hard. You can't take phones away from people because it's your lifeline for everything. Like, this is not just a device that I use to call or text. It has not only all my social media, but it has all my banking stuff on it. It has, I mean, like, I'm connected to the world in so many different ways with this piece of plastic and metal. To take that away I think it's an unenforceable rule. Like, there's probably a false equivalation here, but I'm going to give it a whirl. We're trying to limit texting and driving. Right now, Arizona is one of only 3 states in the country in which you can legally text and drive. But I think everyone is in consensus that it's probably a pretty bad idea to be texting and driving. But how do you legislate it? How do you enforce it? How do you make sure that the guy's not checking his GPS when you thought he was texting? And then it's like, okay, well, hands-free laws. So as long as you're not touching the phone, you can use it while you're driving. But I'm still just as distracted reaching over and swiping and changing music and doing whatever. So how do you enforce a no cell phone policy? How do you make it something, you know what I mean? Like, if they violate that contract, what do? Fire your $15 an hour babysitter? Like,
I don't know. That's a hard one, I guess.
And what if he or she is a really good babysitter, except for the fact that they're on the phone, but they're good and they're trustworthy and they don't, you know.
This is what Graham is saying. He says the exact same thing. How would they enforce that contract? I don't know. That's a great question.
Yeah.
Like I said, you'd have to monitor them the whole time. And then what's the point of hiring a babysitter if you're going to monitor them?
Timothy's giving us answers in real time. He says incentivize. Find a way to make it worth their while not to use their phones.
Yeah. You know, one time when I was driving down the street and I wasn't even using my phone, like texting, but I think I was using it for like the GPS or whatever, some lady yelled at me out of her window, "Get off the phone!" And I was like,
I love, shout out to all you randos out there that shout at us from your cars. That's happened to me a couple times. And I'm always like,
gosh.
You tend to your fences, angry driver.
I'm like, you pay attention to what you're doing. Like, I was just looking at the GPS. I wasn't even texting.
I was stopped at a light, similar situation, GPS, and there was a giant truck next to me, like a semi-truck, not like a truck. And we're stopped. And he sees me looking down at my phone and lays on his horn. And so I jump and look, and he rolls his window down. He's yelling about me being on my phone. And I was like, really? Like,
yeah, that's so weird.
Back off, pal.
Back in my day, it was stay off the radio. It'll distract you.
Yeah. Changing the station.
You shouldn't change your stations until you're parked and you're in a safe spot.
I mean, that's true, though.
It is. You're looking down the roads. You're going 35 miles an hour plus, and you're no, it's a bad song.
Peggy's just shocked to learn that babysitters might be getting paid $15 an hour now. Peggy, honestly, it's probably more than that in Silicon Valley. I bet they're getting paid stupid money out there.
Well, now they have babysitter apps.
Yeah.
And you can go through them, and it gives you their rate. Like some of them charge $12 an hour, $20 an hour, and you can pick what, you know. What
they have a
kind of
dog
babysitter
service like that.
Similar, yeah.
Rover.com, and everybody has their what they charge.
Yeah. So you can pick your babysitter.
And you can undercut your competition.
Yeah, or who knows, offer more. Say your dog will always be indoors, your dog will sleep in the bed, your dog will get this, and if you pay $70 a night, and people will do it.
Holy cow, that's
$70
like a
a
low-rent
night.
motel room.
Easy. Yeah, it's tough. I have to fight trying to get a babysitter all the time, dog sitter for my dog.
Dog care, child care, very expensive.
And most people are like, oh, I can go to your house. No, you're not going to my house. I don't know you. Gee, many crickets. Everyone wants, oh, I can't say it. My apartment doesn't let me, but I'll do it for you.
You guys have any good babysitting stories, like from when you were a kid, or maybe when you were a babysitter when you were younger?
I was never a babysitter, but we always used to go, yeah, I do. We used to go to the house for the girl that was babysitting, and we'd just have a party.
Yeah.
And who knows what the kids were doing.
Right.
You know, they were out running around in the street. We just knew that the parents were going to be home around 9, so we got to get the kids all in. And yeah, so those were my babysitting stories.
I remember, when the babysitters would invite their boyfriends over,
Yeah.
their significant other, you know, to come hang out.
That's
with them
worse
while
than
the
dating
baby-
what's the
social
worst
media.
distraction,
Yeah.
Twitter or your
Yeah,
boyfriend?
Exactly. I had a lot of parents that would come home and the babysitter would be like in the back room with the boyfriend while the kids, because they came home a little bit early because maybe the steak was undercooked and Larry was a little ticked off. Let's just get home.
I can't recall any babysitting stories at this time.
I don't think I ever got into any serious trouble with babysitters. I think that I was more of a burden to like my own parents, especially my poor dad. I was like 3 years old. We were up north in northern Michigan, out at my grandma's old place on the lake, on Lake Huron. And my dad and his buddies were playing a horseshoe game. And they were slinging a couple Miller Lights, and 3-year-old Paul's running around, you know, doing whatever 3-year-olds do. Dad took his eye off me for 1 minute. I ran right in front of the horseshoe game in the middle of a throw, took one right here in the eyebrow, blasted my face open. There's no hair that grows here. I had to get stitches.
Did you break the bone?
Put my head back together. No. It was just a surface wound.
That
a lot of blood,
ridge,
though.
man.
You never cut yourself in the face. You bleed a lot.
Yes.
Scared the hell out of my poor mother. I remember, this is maybe my first memory, like legitimate memory, because it was such a traumatic thing. I remember my dad carrying me back to the house and sitting me on the kitchen counter as I'm like gushing blood, and my mom waking up from a nap and just screeching, "My baby! What have you done to my baby?" And then we went to the hospital and got all stitched up. And sorry, Dad, you were a terrible babysitter.
My cousin one time was watching me, and I have a scar too from it. We were like at one of the auto shops. My mom was buying a part with my grandfather, and so my cousin took me to the restroom. Well, she was only a few years older than me, you know. So when I was done, she faced me towards the toilet and picked up my pants. So when she did that, I came forward and fell on the toilet. And so same thing. She said, like, it just gushed blood everywhere, and she's screaming, and she goes out there and tells my mom, and my mom freaks out. And so it's a big old traumatic experience too. And so we had to go to the hospital. I had to get stitches, and my grandfather had to hold me because my mom couldn't do it. But now I have a scar for life because of that. I'm like, thanks, cousin.
I got my pants caught on fire once. Completely caught on fire.
I feel like you're making this up.
Nope, they were having a big bar, like a pig roast.
Okay.
This is out in the country in New Mexico.
Yes, sir.
And they let us do whatever, you know, run around. So I was having fun jumping the fire. It was about as wide as this. And my back foot, I guess, kept landing into the fire, but I didn't feel it because it was sneakers, but it was hitting my pants. And I kept jumping back and forth, and I was around the adults, and it just went, started coming up my pants, and
Jimmy
they just
pants
picked
on
me
fire.
up, and just that was it.
They're like, liar,
and I was fine.
pants on fire.
Another time, my brother stuck me in the foot. He was babysitting me. He stuck me in the foot with a knife because he decided to play chicken, and that's where you throw the knife at someone's foot.
What is wrong? The games we played as kids.
Oh, yeah. And they say it's dangerous now.
Yeah.
So the idea is you're not supposed to flinch, and he tries to get the knife as close as he can to your foot. I'm scared. He's like, well, you better not move. Don't flinch. It was called flinch. And so he threw the knife, and it went right into my big toe, stuck into the bone. I still have the scar. I had to pull it out of the bone, and I said, what did you do? He says, well, you should have flinched.
I have someone shared a driving story when we were talking about it. Oh, Carrie said, I seen a guy with his tablet mounted to his steering wheel watching something, and he kept swerving in my lane at 75 miles per hour on the I-10 after dark. How would that work with his hands-free
It's a great point, Carrie.
Yeah.
I mean, that is the problem with hands-free, right? Is that you could be watching Netflix as you're driving around and nobody's any the wiser. You know, like that's so unsafe, but it's so tough to restrict. It's so tough to legislate, you know? I liked Morgan's remark. I once watched 9 kids when I was only 14. Looking back, I can't believe they left me responsible for all those kids.
9 kids?
I feel like that happens too. Like, as the oldest in my family, I had to watch my little brothers all the time, and like, they'd have friends over or whatever, and pretty soon, like, you're running, a small basketball team full of little kids.
Little daycare center.
Yeah, like, I remember, I think I've told this story on the show before, so I'll be quick with it in case you've heard it, but I think my worst babysitting story with me as the babysitter is my youngest brother, Jonathan, had a potty mouth when he was little. Just every curse word under the sun. He'd love the reaction he'd get when he'd drop an F-bomb in front of mom, you know. I was babysitting him one time. He would not stop cursing, and I said, John, like, I am going to wash your mouth out with soap if you don't stop. And I gave him a warning, and I gave him another warning, and he wouldn't stop. I think he was calling me the B word. Anyway, I grabbed that soap, and I grabbed the back of his little head, and I jammed that bar of soap in there, and he started gagging on it, and he just puked his guts out. Just bubbles. Just like lost his lunch. Just wouldn't stop throwing up. I felt so bad because you're like, I'm trying to teach him a lesson.
Right.
Bad taste of soap in your mouth, but like puking bubbles.
Why didn't you just hold him down and dead leg him?
I know.
Dead leg.
brother
That's an
would
older
do,
brother
yeah.
move. I know.
Yeah.
My
I
brothers
felt
used
so
to tie
bad.
me up. They'd tie me up and throw me in a closet. They would tie me up like with 50 different ropes, and they'd throw me in a closet. And I'd kick the door open, and I'd be like, oh, I'm shaking. And I'd throw the rope at them, and they'd start chasing me again.
Oh, by the way, Grandma's watching. Shout out to Darlene. She says she remembers that horseshoe incident. If you got any more info you'd like to share that I missed in the story or something I got wrong, put it in the comment section. We'll read it here. Oh
Peggy said, I'm not crazy about driveless cars, but at least they wouldn't be on their phone or texting or watching Netflix.
Yeah. No, I get it. All right, we'll get back to this discussion in just a second. Let's get to some freshly squeezed juice this morning. What do we have, Vanessa?
Okay, in trending news, if you love Target, you'll love this. A New Jersey mom announced the birth of her second child using a Target shopping basket
come on.
as a bassinet in the photo. Look, the baby also has a Target baby onesie on. The photo has gone viral and has been shared all over the internet. That is the cutest thing ever. Look.
I know there are a lot of moms out there that go to Target and end up spending hundreds of dollars. So if you're going to take your kid there,
I want to know.
That's a pretty cute child carrier. I'm just saying.
That is so cute. However, that baby looks a little bit larger than like a newborn baby, right?
I don't know.
I think so. He
Could
looks
be
so
older.
big. He's so cute, though.
You making fun of somebody else's heavy baby?
No.
How dare you?
I just don't. I'm like, when did they do the announcement? A few days later.
What a cutie. Hey, by the way, we're
So
doing a
cute.
cutest baby in AZ contest on the website. If you got cute pictures and videos of your little ones, send them in.
Yeah.
And you could win $1,000.
Yeah.
We're sharing our own co-workers' babies.
Oh, I know. One of our producers, Adam, his little son AJ is appearing in all the promos. He's so freaking
Yeah. And then Jen Wall, her daughter,
cheeks.
appeared this morning when we were talking about
FYI, I think all babies are cute.
Oh, yeah.
FYI.
There isn't like an actual winner. It's just subjective, you know. But all your babies that you enter will be beautiful and cute and loved.
And we'll love them just the same,
Yes,
accordingly.
exactly.
All right, any last thoughts on our babysitter situation about social media? I think we can all agree that using a lot of social media while you're babysitting or doing anything important, not a great idea.
Nope, don't do it. You know, just be responsible. But somebody else made a comment in here that if that's your concern, then don't hire a teenager. Like send them to a family member or an adult.
Well, and that's a good point too, because I feel like a lot of parents just traditionally hire like someone younger, like looking for a little part-time work to watch their kids, right? A college student, someone in high school. But honestly, the best childcare is provided by like an adult, like someone that's been there and raised kids. And there are plenty of people, you know, middle-aged that are looking for work. Like, that's what those apps come in handy for, I suppose.
Yeah, when you're
It's a ton of money for sitting around on your butt.
To do something that
Watch
you don't
TV.
get paid to do, watch your kids.
Yeah, not bad. Hey, real quick, shout out to Michael, our cameraman.
Oh yes, today's his birthday.
Happy birthday,
Come
steady
on
cam.
over.
Come on
Well, I
in,
guess
come
it's
on
in the
in.
You
back
see
of
him in
a little bit.
silhouette there.
Yeah, he's very handsome.
We'll never show his face on this show, ever. Except for
Wait,
right
can you
now.
see it?
There he is.
Yay!
Steady
Happy
cam, Michael. Happy birthday.
Very
Wait, you
handsome.
said you're going to a nice dinner with your family and friends?
Chibo tonight.
Chibo?
Woo, Chibo.
Chibo. Okay, so if you want to say hi to him, stop by Chibo.
He'll be a
Come by.
Chivo.
Everybody's welcome. Buy the man around.
It's a big party. Yeah, get him around.
We were bummed that we didn't bring cupcakes in for him because we're all on that 10-day challenge where it's no
I brought some
sugar.
bread pudding in.
Yeah. Jimmy
Yeah.
brought his beef jerky and tequila recipe.
Oh, it's
I can
delicious.
bring a dozen hard-boiled eggs tomorrow.
Gross. And Michael ran away. So that's the end of the show. Today, Nazy After Show back tomorrow at 7:30. Be good, people.
Bye.